Hey people, CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 21 of the Greatest Attorney 2 Resolve. Last time, we confirmed that there was a connection between Shamspeare and Green. They basically had a meetup at a restaurant, and on the right before the poisoning happened, and we're going to delve into that. Well, excuse me, can I say something? Yes, Miss Green? That card was delivered to me! It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Why would I be in public with him? I have better people to be in public with than this fop! Well, you think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely... My lord, may I? May you what, Miss Green? I'd like to make something very clear about that card. Very well then, you may amend your testimony to include details about the peculiar note. Okay. This note was delivered to me at my address. It has nothing to do with this odd man next to me here. Aha! Now I have to flip over my trap card.
Objection.
Boom. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address, and upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you found yourself in the hospital. Yes, I did! It's terrible, everything that's happened to me! Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this, please. It's the torn off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? And it just so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Where did you find that? In Mr. Shamspeare's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Shamspeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well... Your actions that afternoon follow the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And so that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shamspeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. What did I do? As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shamspeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shamspeare's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? You broke, thou were in my room looking at my inappropriate plays, my very raunchy plays that are not meant for the faint of heart and children. What on earth do you want with me? If you're warm for my form, then I am sorry, madam, but I am married to the theater. It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Miss Green. Yes? Whilst you have the gold sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. I will throw my hollow chalice right at your head, because God help me, I have to deal with enough from this Nipponese deceiver who is constantly overturning my guilty verdicts. Here I go, getting a guilty verdict fair and square with sound logic, and then here he comes waltzing into my courtroom and making a mockery of it with his examination summations or whatever it's called. Please bear that in mind. Yes, I know. Very well then, witness. You will give formal testimony again now. And on the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note, CzarThwomp forgot to turn the timer on. Okay, sorry. On the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. The anomaly of the note.
I do remember now. 'Twas a week ago, pre-adventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of the Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished.
I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for the doorknob piece of the envelope, I don't know anything about it.
Oh yeah, that's some good V8. It is very blend V8.
You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shamspeare?
Faith, 'tis so, my lord, and I would swear to have set it upon the table in mine humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it.
Well, that being the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was a lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think that I'm the one lying! I beg your pardon? I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. That note was delivered to me at my address, besides. We all know who the liar around here is.
And we all know who the shrew in this courtroom is, madame. If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shamspeare's room.
I don't see why I should explain.
Sorry?
I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is to just say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanations and prove you, the fledgling lawyer.
The fledgling will do his best.
Evidently, my learned friend's cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Ergo, we will not be learning the truth. We will only be learning lies. Well, counsel?
I'm ready, my lord. And CzarThwomp has a headache forming behind his left eye.
Very well then, the defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witness.
Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shamspeare's room. There could be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all of this. And it's not a pretty one. Cross-examination time.
Hold it!
And can you shed any light on the contents of that note at all? Nay, sire, 'tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue. Even with a knowledge of literature as great as my own, verily, 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. In effect, he was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Ah, alack, if the choice is betwixt I knew him and I knew him not, then 'tis with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some small measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instructions and went to the Slug and Salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Marry, naught will have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by mine own eager heart to betake myself to the tavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not satiated.
Hold it!
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared? Well, yes, sire. 'Tis as thou sayest. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall.
Really? You mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all?
I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, 'tis returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and my innards to a premium crust of bread. And that meanwhile in the 21st century, Gumshoe reads about this case. Damn, that Shamspeare was living like a king! Yeah, then Gumshoe, I have to drink sewer water. I have to have my water pumped directly from the sewers. My water contains 99.99% raw sewage. And all around me danced a great many companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies.
Good lord.
Of the flies, in the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, from a midsummer night's dream, come to taunt me? I think they were just flies. I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
Hold it!
Next one. When exactly did you notice it had gone missing?
Such a...
Sorry. I was doing for Rock Band English for a second.
CzarThwomp, what are you doing flubbing my lines? I'm not speaking.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupied my mind. I am busied with greater ideas.
In other words, you didn't notice.
Several days passed between your adding to the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room.
Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval.
Such idle thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am busy with greater ideas.
And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in the hospital, was she not? Clearly then, she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shamspeare's room. Ah, yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir? Don't talk to me, you're the reason I'm in this kangaroo court. You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note. And worst of all, you're giving that my Lord Nipponi's friend here credibility, and I will not stand for it. I am not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. I have resulted in death once, and I will result in death again. You would do well to remember that. I have a mullet. I have nothing to lose. Oh, dearie me.
What's Lord Van Zeke's getting at? Okay.
Hold it!
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shamspeare about 1 week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shamspeare's lodgings.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless.
Miss Green could only have come into possession of that note by stealing it from Mr. Shamspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodgings, though? Yes! We should pursue that idea, Mr. Naruto! We're close now, I can feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough.
Hold it!
Okay, next one. So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the letter, is that it?
I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters.
Introverted, fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspirations about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song. The wind doth frolic on my wings. I dance in the fields, and I am like Snow White. I have 7 dwarven friends. Look at my interactions with the Japanese fellow. Now I'm imagining Shamspeare and the 7 Natsumes. The 7 Sosekis. Oh pity, wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman?
Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure.
Tragedy! Thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thine instructions here thereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain. Mr. Naruto, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I am no Shakespearean actor, Miss Usato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve this argument is it's evidence, yes. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into Mr. Shamspeare's room, isn't it? And that's where she found this letter. Yes, two more or less foregone conclusions that led me to one terrifying conclusion. Why can't I speak? Terrifying? Yes, I'm afraid to say that the outcome of this cross-examination may well change how we look at this case completely. Okay. Okay. Scotland Yard. Da 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 dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. Basically, what we're going to do is basically the thinking that is behind this cross-examination is that basically we want to prove the fact that Green, she broke into the room because basically she believes that Shamspeare killed Duncan. And basically, she wanted to get him back. Basically, think of basically Inherited Turnabout, basically, what was going on there. Of why Dane Gustavia got poisoned. With the poison gas. He wanted to die in style in the Art Lodge. Okay. Okay. Just verifying, checking it out.
Objection!
Okay, apparently that is not what we want. Okay, apparently this is where it starts. Okay. Okay, I am not sure what we're doing. Handprints on the wall. Crime scene photo. The medical report. Okay, I think it could also very well be the bottle that we're trying to prove, because basically I know the because that's the thing with me in Ace Attorney games, where I know what's going on in the cases, but basically I just can't, for the life of me, just at times think the way the game wants me to think, you know? But I gotta look through this, I'm debating about which one it is. I think that it's either this one or the one after, because basically Van Zeeks, he was responding to this one. Gotta think. What is this going to be? I'm just debating about what it's going to be. I think it could be the photograph, but I'm not sure if it's the photograph. I think the photograph may be one of those, hey, we're moving things along, just present the evidence. Okay, think. I'm sorry. Yeah, Sarah Shamspeare, what I think. Okay, let's look through. Okay. Okay, look through. I'm very sorry. Have to think and think about this. Soap. What is soap? It's the bottle. Why is the soap here? Because we're thinking what the soap is. Soap, it is something. The bottle, there we go, there. Okay, I'm gonna go with the poison. Let's see if the poison. Come on, poison.
Objection!
Yes, thank you! Really? Just like I said, at times, Just I don't have the proper line of logic the game wants. Where basically it's like, oh hey, I know what exactly is going on. I've come across the solution to. I've come across the conclusion to the case, but then basically it's like, I know what's going on, but it's just, how do you get there? Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle, and although the contents spilled during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. Ah! According to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholm's chemistry set, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine.
What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shamspeare?
Ah! Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shamspeare's room with poison.
Can this be?
You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there is one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shamspeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie! Me!
She is crushed by art. She was crushed into her art.
Oh, order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill?
Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts.
But Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected. The attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely.
Well, that's a very good point.
Perhaps not, my lord. I beg your pardon? There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. I made sure to post extra officers in the area in order to ensure that the Nipponese defendant did not set any sort of vile traps. I was anticipating they would enter his room and a giant log would descend from the ceiling. It would just smack Gregson in the stomach and just send him soaring through the wall. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoings at that time.
Lord Van Zeeks?
And of course, the following morning there was more activity at Mr. Shamspeare's address.
More activity? Ah, yes. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on suspicion of murder.
That's right, and as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Shamspeare was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself. To cause the gas stove in Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant.
But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Shamspeare had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe.
His intended victim being in a prison cell?
Sorry. Thought that Shamspeare was going to see.
With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison on the pipe lay dormant.
And then 3 days ago now, the situation changed again.
Right. Mr. Natsume's trial, which took place here at the Old Bailey, came to an end.
The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted.
I was about to say doodly. That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Shamspeare was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room for some 4 days earlier. Mary! With that new understanding, it becomes clear that this letter was all part of the plan.
What plan?
The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit the Slug Inside at 5 o'clock, and that the recipient should tell nobody else. The reason for those instructions are now clear.
to ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time.
To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. And CzarThwomp needs to sip on his V8 splash. Very berry flavored. Tastes like a slightly more bitter fruit punch. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into your room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say that letter was written by Miss Green, yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. Just after she smeared poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room.
Order, order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness?
Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? And more importantly, were you looking at my plays? My very lewd and heated plays. They are not for the public. They are for me and me alone. Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during the course of this trial.
So, that's what's behind all this. You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for the attack on the victim's life?
Take that!
Duncan Ross?
That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence in the lodgings at Mr. Yaredev's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross.
I knew I heard that name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, when the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. That does ring a vague. Ah! Of course, yes! I remember now! The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such.
Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Shamspeare blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Ah!
Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious deaths, that's all people care about. If it's an interesting story, they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds that real people are involved. And once they're bored, just 1 month later, once the story's lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him.
You mean you? Duncan was! Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiancé. Fiancé? You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shamspeare, and CzarThwomp apparently can't say the word Mr. anymore. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy, the murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry? Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shamspeare, you smeared poison over the end of the gas pipe?
This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel?
Well, we'll answer that next time. Anyways, I really appreciate that you stuck around to watch this episode. You're a great viewer, and I hope you come back for the next one. If you like this video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do whatever you want. Well, I'll see you next time. Bye.